I wanted to show you guys how to make an authentic Anglo-Scouse Chinese curry sauce. Money shot! Curry sauce is a staple in the north. Chinese community came in, the oldest in Europe, 1860. That connection of the shipping lines between Liverpool, Hong Kong and Shanghai set some fundamentals into Liverpool. And as a Scouser, you'd have curry sauce at least once every 2 weeks, if not once a week. It could be half and half curry rice and chips. It could be to go with your fish and chips, or to make just a nice Chinese chicken curry with a load of rice. So I'm going to show you how to make a curry sauce, Chinese style, with a little bit of Scouse from scratch. Part 1 to the perfect curry sauce is an aromatic oil. Part 2 is going to be the curry paste, and then in part 3 we'll be making the sauce itself from the curry paste. If you can't be arsed making this lovely aromatic oil, you can skip ahead to making the paste. You don't want to do that, because this is brilliant. Head over to the website to get all the ingredients, measures and recipes. It saves all the faff here. So the aromatic oil is the part 1. The reason we make the aromatic oil, you don't have to, but we're layering up the flavour. So when it comes to actually making the curry paste, you add an oil that is already full of lovely herbs and spices and aromats. And as you can see on the board, we've got carrot, leek, onion, curry leaves, lime leaves, bay leaves, ginger, anise, turmeric, clove, cardamom, lemongrass, chilies, cinnamon, sliced orange, and garlic. Woo! I'm really impressed with myself there. First off, you need to get yourself a very big arse pan, because we're going to be making a batch of this, which is going to last. Our vegetable oil going in, 2.5 litres. So medium-low heat. We don't want it too hot. We want it maybe just over, maybe like that 110 degrees, 120, where the steam's just simmering away in the oil. If we do it too harshly, it's all just going to burn, which we do not want. This should take about an hour or so to get the desired aromatic flavour. Now this is a very technical process. It's what I call bunging in the pan. And it's as simple as, we throw our cinnamon in. Oh, that was hard. We will put in our carrots. And there's no order in which you've got to throw these in. You've just got to get them in the pan. We'll go left-handed, just for the camera. I'm just going to bring that up to temperature, give it a little mix. Once it starts to bubble, I'm going to lower it down. It's just simmering gently. And what's happening here is a lot of the moisture is just leaving the individual ingredients in there. So that's what's creating this little bubble, this little simmer. We don't want it too harsh. Too harsh, you're going to burn it all too quick. And you don't want to burn it at all, because that will give the oil a bitterness. We do not want that. It's all love, no war, no bitterness. Okay guys, so the part 2, start building your paste. This process is very simple. You need a blender. Any blender should do it. I've got 100% coconut cream. You can see it's dense, it's hard, it's set up. So you've got the fat, the cream, everything in there from the coconut. When you've bought Chinese curry paste in the past, you'll know it's hard. You know, when you get it in, you've got to really chop it up. A lot of that comes from the coconut cream and the coconut fat that sits in there. You've got about 30 grams of mint, the same in coriander and basil. I've used 3/4 of a ripe banana. Now you can also add about 50 to 100 grams of pineapple. I don't, I prefer it without pineapple. The banana gives you flavour, but also helps towards the body of the paste. And then you've got 400 grams of the coconut cream. And we're just literally going to blend the backside off that until it's nice and smooth. And the banana. Okay guys, so that only needs 5 minutes, blending quite high. So it's all blended up. We'll just leave that there for now. Ready to build our sauce. Some people add salt at different stages when they do this. I leave it until after we've made the paste and we're actually going to make our sauce, because I like to just get the seasoning right then with a bit of salt and a bit of MSG. So at the minute, everything hasn't had any salt. Put a bit of salt in if you want, but there's no need to yet. Okay guys, so this has been ticking over for about an hour or so now. As you can see, when you're looking in there, the onions are starting to caramelise, gone nice and golden brown. This is the time you want to turn it off and just allow it just to cool down by itself. Now, I'm going to use this straight away, but you guys need to make sure you leave all that goodness in there for at least 24 hours, because that's just going to permeate through the oil and be absolutely banging. But I've got to get a move on. So it's still going to be banging, but trust me, just leave it 24 hours and then strain it. So I'm going to let that cool down and then we're going to pass it off and I'm going to show you how to do the curry sauce. If you really can't be bothered, you can just do it without, but honestly the flavour difference is unbelievable. You can just let that cool down a little bit. If you've left it out overnight, like when you leave oil out, it'll just thicken up a touch. So when it comes to passing it off, you won't get as much of the oil out of the ingredients. So 24 hours later, just bring it back up gently on the stove. Be careful, pass it off and strain it. That's the way to do it. So I only need 1.5 litres for this recipe, but this and any more you make will keep forever. Also makes a bang of mayonnaise, nice to dress some salads with. It's unbelievable. One for the store cupboard. So we've got 1.5 litres of aromatic oil. Time to make the paste. The key to this is not adding any moisture. Cook the flour out with the oil and the spices. As soon as you add moisture, you're going to thicken the flour into a sauce. So we want to, when we're making a paste, we make a batch of paste. So again, you can keep it in the fridge for ages and ages. And then you just take what you need out. And then as you add the water to it then, that's when the water will react with the flour and thicken it. Because there's no water going in now, you're not going to get that thick sauce, just the paste. So you put the flour in dry and we're going to toast that out for about 20 minutes. I've used a gluten-free flour. It goes less sort of tacky for me personally. And also it's a habit I've got into, especially owning the restaurant, to create the recipes gluten-free friendly. As long as it's not compromising the recipe, then it's the direction we go into to make everybody's life a little bit easier and to be a little bit more accessible. So this is a blend of rice flour, tapioca flour, and a potato starch. It goes a little bit golden brown after about 10-15 minutes. So to that we add all the fat of 1.5 litres to about 500 grams of flour. So you see no lumps. Rest of the oil in. It looks like a lot of oil, but this is a massive mix. So this is going to last. Again, I'm going to use a lot of this up in the restaurant, but this will last you guys for such a long time. You can also freeze it down into portion sizes. So our paste goes in. And then we put our spices in. So we've got ginger, we've got garlic, we've got chili powder, pepper, black or white's fine, 5 spice, cumin, and madras curry powder and turmeric. So just whack all these in. Just want to cook this out. So it looks really dark, but this is the paste. So once we add a bit of water to make our sauce later on, this will go like a nice bright yellow colour. We're going to cook that out for 5 minutes. So what we're going to do now, this is a perfect size Tupperware tub. Whack it in your fridge and that would set up like a loaf, and then you can just cut it into portions and then you can freeze or ziplock your portions you want, give it to your mates. So they can be left out to cool down and then put into once they're cool, put them in the fridge. This is the leftovers, so we've got about 3 tablespoons of curry paste ready to rock. So if this was coming out of the fridge, you just want to heat it up gently. Now this is to preference and to taste. So I'm going to do a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of MSG. I think it's essential. Again, you don't need to. Some people have this thing about MSG. I don't care. It's lovely. It really works. Mix that in. And then we're just going to add water, or you can add stock if you want, but again, there's so much flavour in there, you don't need it. So the water will react with the flour and start thickening. So you can use a ladle, a spatula, or a whisk. So you can see the flour's cooking out now that you've added it with the water. And you're just adding the water to get the desired consistency that you like. So if you were doing it as a dipping sauce to go with some chips or some fish, you might have it a bit thicker. If you're doing it to serve up with a chicken curry, you might want it just a slightly bit thinner just to coat the chicken. It's completely in your hands now. You have a taste for season. God, that's really good. 1 teaspoon of the MSG, 1 teaspoon of salt to 3 tablespoons of your curry paste is more than enough. But I do think that the MSG is actually really such a crucial part for the flavour, the authenticity. So when, and you'll know what I mean, it's like you add the MSG, you go, that's the ingredients I've been missing out. And So I'm starting to hear is that there's been a lot of like negative press over the years towards MSG, which actually it's not as bad as we think. For me, sugar's worse. Do you know what I mean? Keep it savoury, not the sugar on the head. And if you get into their head, you can see the consistency we're at. Now you can add more water into there if you wish, but for me, I'm going to knock this out with my fish and chips. So I want to be able to get a chip in there for it to hang off the edge of the spoon. When you when it comes to serving curry sauce, you want it in a pan, hot, ticking over so you can whisk it. Whether it's this one you've made yourself or whether it's a shop bought one, because the amount of flowers in there, it's always going to have a layer of skin on top. So if you leave it out, it's highly likely that after 5 or so minutes, it's going to coagulate or have a layer of skin on it. So you're better off whisking it to order, serving it straight away, in my humble opinion. Let's serve it out. Money shot. Traditional Chinese Anglo-Scouse curry sauce, start to finish. Perfect for chicken curry, even better for fish and chips.